folks, my name is Richie, aka Bog Otter, and welcome to another Bog Vlog. Today I'd like to recap some of the stories that happened to me during my PAX East travels 2016 that just occurred this past weekend. I talked about it on stream today, and actually had Aurora Peachy come in and share some stories as well. So I wanted to kind of cut up and highlight the different, important bits of our journeys to PAX East and share it with you here on YouTube. So I hope you enjoy. Check it out. Hopefully some of you guys followed on Twitter or Facebook during this weekend. I tried to post as much as I could. Actually, Widget did a ton of posting. She was there with me with her husband. If you don't know who Widget is, she's a member of the Ottoman Empire, but she also is somebody I've known for a long time in real life and helps manage the behind-the-scenes stuff for me. But she was posting a ton on Twitter. And yeah, I just thought we'd take a little while during the stream and talk about what happened during PAX over the last few days. Went up to PAX last Thursday, right? Drove up there. I went with Widget and her husband. PAX doesn't start till Friday, so the main thing that we did, and you guys probably heard me talking about it and stuff like that. We had Bog and the Peach meet up in real life at the Hard Rock Cafe, and we had no clue. Like we kind of threw it together last minute, like a few days before the con, and said, hey, you know what? If nobody shows up, then the three people in my party, and then Peachy had Mr. Peachy and her friend Stephanie, and like at the very least we'll have the six of us get together for dinner, so we figured, why not, we'll wing it, we'll see what happens. And it was really cool. Some people showed up. We met Atomic Samurai Robot, and I saw him in chat earlier. He was super nice, and he brought a ton of raisins, which was great. he had snacks for his journey. He had a backpack with tons of raisins in it, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah, we started with one small table. We had like the six of us, and then Atomic Samurai Robot showed up, and then Emily Orange, who watches, and I think is mostly a lurker, but I found her on Twitter as well. So we had like just eight folks. And we had like one kind of big table, and we just started having a good time. And then didn't spiral out of control, thankfully, but it did get much bigger. We had Scapes come over, Evan from Tryon Worlds, who's been very helpful to this channel with Devillion codes, and then Atlas Reactor stuff. He's the one that got me the promotional materials for those two games that we've streamed. And he said, hey, I'm gonna come hang out with Bog and Peachy, and he brought a few people. One of the guys from Twitch, Sean, drew his fire, and then he had another group of friends who I don't remember all of their names, but they are a group forming like a PR firm in New York. So that happened, and then we had a couple of people. Well, actually, one person from our guild, Maven, Age. He showed up with some of his friends, and there turned out to be people from our community, Malthanis and Quo, who I saw in the chat earlier. We met Quo, and then Robin, who I used to work at Game Breaker with. And then they had some other friends and stuff like that. So I think in total, we had close to 20 people by the end. We had to keep piling on table after table, and the poor waitress that was, waiting on us, she had been there since like 7 a.m. in the morning. I think it was her very first day. Was it her first day? Yeah, it was her very first day, and we felt so horrible for her, but she did a great job and everything like that. So anyway, it was great. It turned into a much bigger thing than we thought it would, and it was a lot of fun. It was great. Yeah, it was cool. And the best thing is when Widget, I introduced Widget to Age from our guild, and his Age Night Road, right? And she's like, oh, I recognize your name, Age Night Rod, Age Night Rod, and it was funny because she got his name wrong, but it was his comment that actually made it turn into something. He's like, yeah, that would be my name in a different industry. And thus the legend of Age Nightrod was born. Yeah, John Ryan showed up to the party as well. John Ryan was he used to be one of the writers at ArenaNet, and he saw, and by the time I flew out to ArenaNet last February, he had already left the company. And I never got to meet him, but one of the reasons I always wanted to meet him is I told a story once on Guildcast about my frustration with the the dynamic event in the Wayfarer Foothills in Guild Wars 2, where you think you're going to meet a Yeti, and it turns out to just be like a Jotun pretending to be a Yeti and stuff like that, and like the Yeti was a lie, and I told this whole story on Game Breaker, and then John Ryan actually came out on Twitter and contacted me. He was like, by the way, I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm the one responsible for the Yeti is a lie. And we've always had this Twitter banter ever since about Yetis in Guild Wars 2. I finally got to meet him, so that was really cool. That was really cool as well. Yeah, Tamak Samurai Robot, by the way, he wasn't even going to the convention. And he lives in Connecticut, I think. He just drove for hours just to come to dinner. So that was amazing. That was amazing. So thank you for making that drive. You know, Peachy and I are honored to have you there. And that's just, I don't know, that's just crazy cool. That's just crazy cool. Oh, it's an hour and a half. Well, it's an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back, right? So it was like 3 hours of driving just to say hi to us. So that was woohoo! Crazy. We got ourselves a new otter. Welcome to the swamp. Wyvern Ripsnarl. Holy, I almost cursed. I have to like go back to censoring mode. Because a lot of times during the weekend, I was just around, you know, I wasn't streaming and I wasn't around my kids, so my filter was off for a few days. So I gotta get the filter back. So I don't have a family-friendly stream because I'm offended by offensive language or anything like that. It's not like I have sensibilities like that, per se. But it is, you know, I'm used to the corporate world for 12 years working as a manager and not, you know, really swearing. And then I have kids, so a lot of the time, you know, I'm around kids. I'm a coach for soccer, you know, I do a lot of different activities and, you know, around town with the kids and stuff like that. So I'm just used to not. And I also think it's more professional to have a stream, and I think there needs to be more places on the internet and more places on Twitch where you can go and not hear an F-bomb every 3 seconds. However, that being said, when I'm just around friends or family that I'm comfortable with, then game on. Let it roll. All right, so Friday was a really long day. So Friday's the first day at the convention. So let me just say in general, the convention this year, because this was my fourth PAX East that I've been to, and I've been to PAX South once as well. In general, out of all the PAXs I've been to, I think there was less for me personally, less things that I was interested in personally overall, because you know I like playing MMOs and I like jumping in, like even though Guild Wars 2 is my main MMO, I like checking out every like new MMO that comes out there and stuff like that. And I've just played predominantly MMOs over the past like 10, 12 years or so. So my first time at PAX, there were panels about Guild Wars 2 coming out. Because it was before it launched. It was over a year before it launched. Also the first year, there was Star Wars The Old Republic was big on the show floor. My second year, Elder Scrolls Online and WildStar had big presences there. And of course, I followed WildStar. PAX South, they had the Heart of Thorns expansion announcement. So every time I've gone to one of these cons before, there's been an MMO that I was interested in that had a big presence there. Not this year. Not this year. I don't think there was any big... There was no MMO. I don't think there was any MMO stuff. Preachy, was there any MMO stuff there? I really don't think so. I know Elder Scrolls Online had a room where they were had community meetups and stuff like that, but there was no like big booth for it. The big games were all... Well, I'll tell you what, they were like Overwatch like won the con. They had a huge booth. They had promotional things everywhere. They had, if you guys saw my Twitter posts and pictures and stuff, they had cars. They had Overwatch cars, Lamborghinis, like with dressed up as Overwatch, like painted as Overwatch cars. They had cosplayers driving them. They had dune buggy things, big pickup trucks, all kinds of cars. There was like at least 6 or 7 Overwatch cars. They also had Battleborn had a huge booth, Lawbreakers had a huge booth, Ark Survival Evolved had a huge booth. So those were the type of games that kind of were all over the show. So that's the kind of stuff that was big at the con, which I am interested in all of those games. Like I think I could enjoy all of them. But in terms of what I think I could stream regularly, none of the big things at the convention kind of stood out as yes, like, oh, I'm gonna stream Overwatch like, 6 days a week or anything like that. It's just so the strategy changed quite a bit once we got there, and it was focus on the indie games. There's tons of small booths with indie developers, and it was, instead of waiting online for an hour or an hour and a half to try a game for 15 minutes, we could talk to people within 5 minutes, sit down for a few and play these games and hand out tons and tons of business cards and shirts and get the name out there. So that's really what we did. Widget and I, sometimes we actually split up. Widget went with a couple of my business cards and started talking to them, and I went another way. But we, over the course of Friday and Saturday, we probably hit up 20 to 30 different development studios and publishers and made contacts. And and it was funny, Saturday night, I went through all the business cards we had collected, all the contacts we put into our phone, and I, put them all in a spreadsheet, and now it's follow-up time. So Widget and I are going to be sending out a lot of emails and following up, and hopefully getting some cool things to show you guys. So yeah, there's a lot of indie games, a lot of cool stuff. I'll mention a few specifically. I will say this. I didn't play every single game. I talked to the people, and the ones that I did play, there's a whole mess of games in my mind that kind of are bleeding together at this point. But I'll go through some of the ones that I remember. You want Boggy card, business card? I can show you what they look like. So on the back, they look like that. I had so many people say, "I love otters." There we go. This is what they look like. And I gotta give Widget credit. I probably would never have. I never would have thought of this, let alone do this. But she rolled the shirts and stapled business cards to the tag, and we could sling these out. Saturday, yeah. So Saturday, I spent a lot of the day on the convention. I spent all day at the convention, handing out business cards, interacting with the devs, trying out different games. Met a whole bunch of different companies. Trying to think of some examples here. Let's see, I've got some cards here. Prisma was one. This is a game by Shiny Bolt Games. This is like a side-scrolling platformer. Interesting thing was you get different powers, and instead of just like a Mario game where you like, oh look, there's a mushroom, another mushroom, you jump mushroom, and you keep going or whatever. It's like the mushroom is transparent unless you warp the screen by hitting the button. So they'll have like one mushroom here, and one's transparent, and one's not. But to switch them, you hit one of the buttons. So like in midair, you have to switch which one's transparent so you can actually get up to the ledge. So it was a lot of little platforming puzzle type game like that. That was pretty cool. Mario. There's a Mario game. Yeah, I say it different than everybody because I'm from New Jersey. And I actually, unlike most people who don't know anybody named Mario, my grandfather's name was Mario, and my brother's middle name is Mario, because we're Italians. and we have to be stereotypical, I guess. And that's just how we pronounce it. It's Mario. My grandfather's name was Mario, not Mario. So that's why I say it weird. But I realize most people say it differently. But that's okay. Let's see, another one. I played this. This was all part of Daedalic Entertainment. They were publishers. I think they're German, actually. They had a whole bunch of games there that they published, and I was able to hand out swag to them, and they handed me some swag. I played Candle as well from them. But they have a bunch of games coming out, and then they also had this game, Air, I think. So they have a bunch of stuff coming out. So I played a few of these. Now this is what's difficult sometimes. This is what's challenging sometimes. There are certain games that show really well on the floor, right? And there's others that don't. Like, you can jump into like a platformy type game like Candle, and you kind of get the gist of it even if you're not like heavily into it. Like a game like Caravan, it was like super complicated. It kind of looked a little bit like an Oregon Trail set in an Arabian desert. And you have a camel, like you have camels, and you're like, different types of party members and whatnot. And then then the combat in it, like I got attacked by like a dog, some sort of rabid dog thing. And like the combat was rolling dice, but it was kind of like a rock, paper, scissors type combat. And it was very complicated and confusing. So after playing like 10, 15 minutes without instructions, like on the showroom floor, I kind of was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's kind of interesting that they showcase, I don't know how they could do it better. They almost need somebody like sitting there and telling you what to be doing, or have the demo really tailored to, you know, bringing in new people. Because I can't imagine anybody who has never seen this game before playing this for 10 minutes and going, oh my god, I love this game. It's not that it's bad, it's just, you just don't get it. Okay, so another game I saw on Friday was, and this is a game I've talked to you guys about on stream, Total War Warhammer. I've never actually played any of the Total War games, but what has really attracted me is I used to play Warhammer Fantasy Battles, the miniatures game, back when I was in high school, and I love all of the units, like all of the factions from that, and it's just a really cool setting. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait on if I'm gonna wait on a big line, they had a big line. If I'm gonna wait on a big line, that's the one I'm gonna wait on. So I did, and I got to play, and it was a little similar to this, I have to say. They had one campaign, like one little army battle, your army versus their army. It's like versus a skeleton horde, and it's all pre-made for you. But I could see if you had played Total War games before and knew that, you could jump in and kind of figure things out. But I had no idea like how to issue orders to my different I don't want to say units, but I'll say units. The different units. I had no idea what I was doing. I got totally slaughtered. The undead guys totally won that day. They did. They totally won. I could see if I got to start the game at the beginning with the tutorial and they slow you integrate into it. Okay, yeah. So I could see it being fun. It was gorgeous, by the way. It was beautiful. The game, like you could scale way back and see like the whole battlefield. It's huge, and all these different battalions of army members, and you know, I had knights mounted on griffins. You know, I had archers and crossbowmen and stuff like that, and the undead faction had wraiths, and all, you know, it's really cool seeing all these. But you can like zoom way in to like an individual in one of these units fighting, and it's just like the amount of detail in the animations and stuff was incredible. It was cool. I find it kind of puzzling, especially for, you know, a bigger game, like a Total War game, and like they had a big booth. It was like a big castle type thing, and it had a huge line. I kind of find it interesting that they didn't do more, maybe while you were waiting online, because I've seen this sometimes. Like at PAX South, I waited online for Gigantic, and Gigantic had a long line, but while you were waiting, they did two things. One, they had screens set up on the line that taught you the game, the controls. So you watch this video loop over and over where they showed you, okay, you're gonna choose a character, you press this button for this, you do this, and so while you're waiting, you learn. And then they had members of the development studio come to people online. Have you ever played this game before? All right, this is, and they gave you, and they kind of reinforced what you just learned. There was none of that with Warhammer, none of that. And literally, I got put in front of a thing. They said, try to keep your play session to 15, 20 minutes. And I sat there and got my ass kicked. I got slaughtered. So, a note. If you have a complicated game you're showing at PAX, teach. So, but I'll still probably give it a shot. That's coming out the end of May. So Saturday was a work day. Like actually, there was one more thing on Friday. Friday they had the Twitch Town Hall. First 500 people in line would get a swag bag, right, with prizes in. What did they give? A Twitch bag, right? Okay, so this was our swag bag. And inside, I don't think it's still in here. They gave us this bracelet, right? And then there was a spaghetti and meatball pin. Which, I don't know how we're looking at it. Like spaghetti and meatballs. And like, it was a pin. And it's funny, like we didn't think much of it. And then as we exited after the town hall, there were people came up to us and were like, we'll trade you your spaghetti. We need the spaghetti and meatball pin. You can have any of these other years in there. I was like, oh, okay. I guess people really collect these things. right. Okay. I don't know. That person was way more excited for spaghetti and meatballs than I was. Now, the cool thing was about the swag bags is there were 20 people in the audience who had a special number inside their bag. If you got the special number inside your bag, you had to come to the front of this panel, and they narrowed it down one by one by one. They rolled a 20-sided die to see who was going to win. And they narrowed it down, and the winner got 2 tickets to TwitchCon plus hotel. So that was pretty cool. And I totally didn't win that. But all right, so the TwitchCon town hall, I have to say it was a little disappointing. They were announcing supposedly it was just about like what are the current things they're working on in Twitch and all this kind of stuff. They talked a lot about TwitchCon, which I was already, signed up to go to. They talked about the new channel feed, which, came out a month or 2 ago, and I've been using on the channel a bit. It's like down below where the profile is. Now I can have like a little feed where I post different things. So they talked about that a lot. And they said that one of the things that they're going to be releasing soon, and they tried to get us excited about it, and it really wasn't all that exciting, was the channel feed is going to be updated. So now instead of just liking them with a little smiley face, you're going to have the ability to like do different reactions to it, like a love emote or I don't know what the different ones were, but I was like, and like they announced this feature and like nobody clapped, and it's kind of like, yay, kind of thing. The one good thing that they announced, the only thing I thought was any kind of substance, was Twitch is going to have the ability for the broadcasters to turn on a no ads for subscribers feature. So currently, you can get no ads if you go turbo on Twitch, right? So if you pay for a turbo, but that has nothing to do with an individual channel. But we're going to be able to, as a broadcaster, and I'm definitely going to turn this on, turn it on so anybody who subscribes won't see the ads. So I think that was pretty cool. It gives a little bit more of an additional benefit to subscribers for watching. Friends. Okay, so there's also friends list. They also announced that. I can see friends lists being pretty cool. I was trying to figure out as a broadcaster how I would use that, and I won't. It's just not something I need. But for somebody who's viewing Twitch channels all the time, let's say you have a bunch of friends who like watch Twitch all the time, and you want to have a way to kind of see, all right, who's online right now watching Twitch. You could do that. I unfortunately don't really watch a lot of Twitch. I stream, I host people, I watch for a little while. I don't think I will get a lot of use out of the friends list. I would like them to have, I don't know, the things that I was hoping to hear some about is like reduced Twitch delay, reduced stream delay, or maybe like allowing a higher bit rate cap. Like I wanted more of the technical side stuff. That's true. They could save big stuff for TwitchCon. That's true. Like why drop a big bomb on PAX East when in a couple of months we're gonna have TwitchCon? That's true. Okay, so that was Friday. Saturday we did more checking out different games. Let's see. I saw. This was funny. This was a game that I checked out. Chronicles of Illyria. They're launching their Kickstarter soon for it, so the game's not going to be out for a while. But they had a demo of interesting one-on-one fencing kind of thing. It looked a lot like the Princess Bride duel scene between Inigo and I'm thinking his actor's name, Carrie Elways, the Man in Black. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever his name is. It looked like that rocky terrain kind of scene where they banter and fence and stuff like that. So it was a fencing game, and you had a health meter and an endurance meter, and you could like riposte and dash and try to, beat the other person. And the dev taught me how to play a little bit, and then he's like, "All right, you ready?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he kicked my ass. He just, obviously he knows the game. It was kind of funny. I turned to Widget afterward and she had the same impressions. Like, if you're the dev showing off the game, like, wouldn't you like take it a little easy? He did let me like get used to the controls for a second or two. And then once the combat started, it was like, whoosh, 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 All right, you're dead. I was what? Yeah, he showed me how to die. That's what he did. But they said there was going to be, it wasn't all going to be like 1 versus 1 duel simulations. There was going to be like different types, different arenas and different kind of co-op modes and different things like that. But I didn't know a ton about it. And we'll see when the Kickstarter campaign launches. I think it's May 3rd. Supergiant Games announced their 3rd title. So they're the people that did Bastion and Transistor, 2 games that I love. Their 3rd game is called Pyre. I didn't get to play it, but I did talk to one of the devs about it and give him my card and stuff like that. I don't know much about like what type of game it is, but just visually, you know how Supergiant does their art style is just it's amazing. It makes me kind of weepy, and it looked incredible. So Supergiant, they'd make good stuff, good games. I love that Supergiant is not that big. They're I don't know. I guess they're technically indie, but like man, they've had 2 like knock it out of the park hits, and I love that it keeps building their brand up. So you see the 3rd game, you're like, oh, I don't even know like what the gameplay is like on it. I just saw the art style, saw that it was Supergiant. I'm like, I'm in. Go. So I'll show some pictures. There's probably the best cosplay I saw is in the pictures here. Okay, there's me and aged Night Rod. So I've hosted him a couple times while he was streaming, so you might recognize Age. So that was us at the DX Racer booth. Widget's husband sat in every single DX Racer chair they had there, and he picked out the one that fit him, and he's gonna order one, which is super cool. Night Rod! That's his new name. Alright, so this was like a mural for Overwatch. They had this huge wall of the characters. It was super neat. This was hanging over the Overwatch booth. This was the coolest cosplay. Oh, it's a blurry picture. I have video of her cosplay, which is probably going to go in my recap video that I'll put out on the YouTubes. Actually, here's another one. I don't know, this is blurry too. It's a little better. Yeah, that was impressive. And I was mentioning to Widget about this edit. Like, she looks so badass, right? And it's like an amazing cosplay. And she looks like, you know, like she can kick ass and everything. And then after you're done taking pictures or whatever, she tries to walk away, and she's like, she does one of these, like, trying not to fall down because she's got like these platform shoe things, and like she needs somebody to hold her wings in, so because it's so crowded, she doesn't bump anybody, and it kind of like ruins the whole vibe. I had better pictures than this one, but this is Arc T-Rex. You could actually go up on it and get your picture taken, but of course, like everything else, it's like a huge weight. Here's another picture of it from the other side. It's kind of hard to miss the giant T-Rex. It was pretty awesome. Here's Peachy and Mr. Peachy at the TwitchCon party. There's some cosplayers. Is that Dark Souls? I couldn't tell. It looked Dark Soulsy to me. I didn't get to ride the dino, no. And this was the Total War Warhammer booth. This is like the castle that you go into. Another pic of the T-Rex. Yeah, that was Black Knight cosplay from Dark Souls. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Dungeon Boss. I was excited for this at first. A lot of people at this booth. I was excited about this, but then I realized it was only like a tablet and mobile game, and the way the way you demo this game is totally, I can't handle it at all. Like, you guys know I'm germophobic, right? So as it is, if I touched any game controllers or whatever, I had to sanitize afterward. But the way you play this is like they had couches, and then you sit on the couches, and they had tablets tethered to like, I guess the floor of the couch or whatever, and you could pick it up and you could play. But like, I just thought in my mind of like, if I like rubbed my finger across the tablet and it hit any kind of like non-smooth area, you know what I mean? Every once in a while you feel like a bit of gunk on the screen, I would have just like, and I would have lost it. So I didn't play that. I didn't play it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Some more cosplay. I like the little kitty cat on the shoulder. Kitty cat! Kitty kitty! There's another shot of that. This was Battleborn. These statues were amazing. They had the characters for Battleborn out. I have some other shots of it. Some of the characters. This was really cool. I like this mushroom guy. He's neat. So pick up Boston from my hotel room. Now here's some of the Overwatch cars I was telling you about. Alright, there's like one of the Lamborghinis they had. These are like outside the convention. Right, there's me and Peachy at the Hard Rock Cafe. Here's me and Peachy at the TwitchCon party. Here's me playing a Caravan Candle game. This is kind of near the beginning of the meetup at the Hard Rock. I don't think I need to explain that one. Here's Nana at the Twitch Town Hall. And then Nana wanted to ride the T-Rex. Probably my favorite photobomb I've ever done, ever. Widget was trying to take a picture of Orcs Must Die Unchained, and suddenly Bog! I had to jump. I actually had to jump to do that. This is me and Scapes from Tryon. TwitchCon party. So this is like, we'll explain more about what the setting is, but this was literally a bowling alley back here. These are some of the drinks they had, and then the flashy bracelet. Nasty Nana. This is the new DLC for Witcher 3 called Blood and Nana. This was a really expensive, all real leather wizard hat, which was totally awesome, but I didn't get it. And for your nightmares, a smattering. This is what Pyre booth looked like. Super giant. Let me jump on voice chat with Peachy, and we'll talk about the TwitchCon party. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, you actually didn't feel well for some of it as well.
Oh my god, I had the worst seafood on Saturday night. It was so bad.
Ugh. Why? Why seafood?
Because it's okay, so it's Boston. So everybody said, let's go get seafood. And we went on Friday night. So we went to a really, really good place. It was like just amazing seafood. The next night we tried to get into the same place, but it was like an hour and a half wait. And we're like, no, we're starving. So we went to another one, and it was the worst seafood I've ever had.
Oh, see, this is why I don't have seafood. No seafood. Ever.
We didn't even go out that night. Like, we were going to go to like this Acer party, but we were all feeling sick, so we just went back to the room and went to bed.
Oh, that's so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. I did see the pictures of the good seafood night. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the good seafood was good.
Yeah. It's so, seafood is so weird to me. You know, as somebody who doesn't eat it at all, like it makes people so happy. Like, people who love seafood, when they have good seafood, they're so happy. But I guess they're so happy because there's always that risk of it being bad. It's like, yes, this tastes great and I'm not gonna get sick. Yes, so let's talk a little about the Twitch party, so we get the two perspectives there.
Right. Well, you got to the party like at least an hour and a half before I did.
Yeah, I was there pretty early. So basically, I just wanted to say that some people were asking me, like, why did you go alone to that? Because I posted that I went solo. We asked the Twitch folks when I got my wristband for the party. Like the Twitch partners got a wristband with access to different areas of the party. We asked, hey, you know, I have friends. Can they come? And they said no. No, your friends, there's no way to get a +1 or a +2. So Widget and her husband, you know, said, you know, we're not going to go. We'll stay home. And then I texted you, and you told me that they told you that people could come, but they just couldn't access the entire party.
Exactly. So we had to, like, before the con, we had to RSVP and say we were coming to the party and
Yeah.
that we were coming to PAX East. And
Right.
then sometime during the day on Friday, we had to go to the Twitch booth and pick up our wristbands so we could get in. And just like you said, I did the same thing. I didn't ask for more wristbands. I just said, if I have friends who aren't partners, what's the deal? What can they do? And she had told me that there was a first floor that they could access, but then there was a second floor that only the Twitch partners could access. So I was like, okay, well then we can all go together even if there's a section that only I can get into. So that's what they told me. They didn't say like they can't come at all.
Yeah, they told me flat out, like, no, they can't, they can't come. But anyway, but I heard from you in time, so we had the decision. At least you had better info than I did. I'll be honest, I was so tired that night, that if Widget didn't push me out the door, and if you weren't going to that, I don't know if I would have went. I was so exhausted. The thought of, oh my god, we've been like at this con all day, and like go to this place at starting at 9 p.m. Like, so anyway, all right. So this venue that they had, right, was like, it was a 3-story like bar slash bowling alley slash pool hall. It was gigantic, right?
It really, really was. Yeah, there was 3 floors. The top floor and the middle floor had bowling alleys. The middle floor had the pool tables, and then the bottom floor was a restaurant slash dance floor.
Yeah, and if you weren't a Twitch partner, you could only be on the bottom level with the dance floor, and the other 2 levels, with the open bar and the food and all that, were for the top two levels. So when I got there, I went up to the top floor, and I immediately saw like people I saw nobody I knew, nobody I recognized that I would feel comfortable just like running right over to him like, hey. But I saw some big Twitch streamers, like I saw Carnage was there, I saw Amaz, who's a Hearthstone streamer, I saw Pocket, a few other people that I've recognized, but it immediately felt like high school to me. It was, oh, look at these popular cliques of people hanging out in these booths or on these like bowling lanes, and everybody seemed much younger and much prettier than me, and so I did what any sane person would do at that point. I went to the bar and started drinking. Yeah, and so and then I got a plate of food and was just hanging out, waiting for Peachy to get there. Fortunately, I was rescued by.
You texted me. You're like, "Where are you?
Like, where are you?"
Know anybody.
Yeah, it was. I was way older. I could have chaperoned this thing. QMG Saint rescued me. He's one of the members of the We Are Legend stream team. He's actually helped me with some promotional stuff too, like Banner Saga last week and Portal Nights and stuff like that, because he works for a PR firm as well. But he recognized me. He ran over to me. I don't know if I would have recognized him because he wasn't wearing glasses, and every time I've seen him on stream, he's wearing glasses. Fortunately, he found me, and then I talked to him for a while, and he introduced me to a couple other streamers, and so I had someone to talk to. It was great. And then when you got there. Yeah, I think you were there for a while. We couldn't find each other, and it turned out we were on different floors.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a 3rd floor.
Yeah, Peachy's like, I'm at the bar, I can't find you. And I'm like, I'm at the bar, I can't find you.
The other reason was I was trying to get, and I'll tell more about this on my stream tomorrow, but Mr. P and Stephanie actually, because they had to go around, they couldn't go in the VIP entrance that I went into, and they went in the wrong bar. So I was trying to make sure that they were in the right place, and I was running up and down.
Yeah, so then when Peachy and I found each other, we went up to the Twitch party and we started drinking, and I think we were just happy to finally have time to talk, because the whole time at the Hard Rock get together, there were so many people. I don't like you and I didn't really get to chat much.
Yeah, we were so concerned about saying hi, introducing ourselves to everybody else, and talking with Atomic and Emily and everybody, that it's like we didn't get any time to just like hang out with each other.
Yeah, so then we So we kind of like the room disappeared, and it was yes, let's catch up.
It was really nice.
Yeah, and then we finally said, all right, well, I guess we should go find out what T and Stephanie are doing. And that was fun. We went down to the basement. The only problem with that room was so loud.
It was so loud.
Like it was bad for talking. So it kind of stunk. That is like we could go upstairs and talk, but then Mr. Peachy and Stephanie couldn't join us, or we could all be down there together and not hear each other.
Yeah, I'm not used to being in that atmosphere either. And like you said, I was shocked at how many people were there because it wasn't just Twitch partners in the VIP area. It was like devs and, community managers and stuff like that. So we got these awesome light up wristbands.
We did. I did figure out a way to shut it off, by the way.
There's a little button.
I was like, I gotta save the battery on this.
I did not get a video of Bog Otter dancing. There really was no dancing. I apologize to the Ottoman Empire. I know I had a mission and I failed you all.
I didn't dance. I didn't dance. Mr. Peachy danced. So it was really easy to. So here's the dumb thing about not letting the people upstairs, right? I figured out very quickly that I could just go upstairs with my wristband, get drinks, and bring them down to Mr. Peachy and Stephanie. Like, it was really easy to circumvent all their rules. Like, so it kind of was stupid that they made them stay down there anyway, because, I was an enabler.
Bog got us all drunk.
I did. I kind of did. I was an enabler. And then Mr. Peachy, he went nuts on the dance floor. He just went...
He danced so hard he lost his vaporizer.
He did.
And then the next day he slept so hard he lost his tablet.
Yeah. We were like looking around for this vaporizer, and it was completely dark. And then at 2 a.m. when the place was closing and they flipped on all the lights, we were like, look around. Look around. We couldn't find it. Somebody, I guess, took it. I haven't listened to it yet, and of course I'm not going to expose it on stream, but you guys in the cab ride home, you guys were talking insane. You guys, like, the cab driver couldn't stop laughing at you guys. No, I had like 9 gin and tonics from like 9 p.m. till 2 in the morning. Like, so I was feeling no pain, but you guys were like off your bonkers. And I don't remember what you were talking about, but the cab driver was like cracking up at you guys. So I took out my cell phone and I just I aimed it into the back seats and just let it film. And I still haven't listened to it, but at one point you don't remember, you caught me. You're like, be careful what you say. Bog's recording us. He's recording us with the cell phone. So
it's okay. I've done that before.
Yeah, I'm gonna
to people.
I'm gonna see if there's anything good in there and then blackmail you.
You just want a new donation sound.
But yeah, I think overall, we didn't get to spend too much time together. It kind of sucked.
No, I was very disappointed, and like I was kind of all over the place, and like I had like an NCSoft thing to go to on Saturday, and that was like a big chunk of there. So it's like, I felt like, and I knew that you were running around and really, going hardcore at getting talking to the devs and getting your name out there, which was awesome. So I didn't want to like, disturb you doing that, and so it was like I was disappointed that it's just like, I don't know, our schedules just never synced up.
Yep. I'm thankful for the time we had, but I wish it was more. We'll see.
I felt like PAX South was such a better energy. Like, we were so hyped up. We were so like, oh my God. And this was just like, all right, PAX East, cool.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. It's like, well, that's our main game, and it just made this huge announcement, and now we got to meet all of these devs that we've known about on the internet forever and, have only communicated through, social media or whatnot with. So we got to meet all those people. And then there was a whole bunch of Guild Wars 2 community people, whether they were content creators or fans, they were there, and we got to go to a Guild Wars 2 party,
there's no comparison.
There's no comparison. There's like one, we were rock stars, and the other, I'm a middle-aged dad with a banana in my pocket. So completely different vibe. Yes.
Well, I will leave you guys with one funny tidbit. And like I said, I'm going to talk in detail about my experience tomorrow. But I will tell you that at the Twitch party towards the end of the night, I went to go to the bathroom and walked into the men's room.
Yes!
When I saw a guy standing at a urinal, I knew I was in the wrong place.
That's so bad. That is so good. Oh, I have a bathroom story. Let's share bathroom stories. I had on the ride home, stopped at a McDonald's to go to the bathroom. Oh, and like walked into the men's room, and the floor is all like wet around the urinals. And I'm like, oh, like I know it's just my shoes, but I can't stand that. And I found like 2 little dry spots where I had to stand like straddled in this weird position, whatever. So I'm like, all right, let's just do this. I don't want to step in this gross crap. And of course, the door opens while I'm standing like that, and I quickly had to like shuffle into like a normal looking position and right into the gross stuff. I'm like, God. So bad.
Oh, God.
Do you have any other bathroom stories you'd like to share?
No, I don't.
Yeah, one last quick story for Esco Princess. I posted this on Twitter. Widget, who I was there at PAX East with, in case you're just tuning in, good friend, real life. She helps manage things behind the scenes. I worked with her for years in 2 different jobs, actually, and we actually worked in Manhattan together a lot. And so going up and down in elevators as part of our business, you know, going to or from work was common. And she is very easily startled, and she hates being in a confined space when somebody is startling them. So I have taken a little personal interest in a hobby of startling her in elevators. So anytime we go into an elevator and there's other people, she feels relieved. But if it's suddenly just her and I tend to scream at the top of my lungs.
Enjoy your stay.
Super VHS, thanks for following, which is very unsettling, and she reacts very, very hilariously to. Well, obviously, in our non-corporate lives, we don't get many opportunities to be trapped in an elevator together anymore, so this part of my hobby and my fun is no longer something I can do on a regular basis. But the reverse started happening. And during Scream streams, she likes sending in little tips that scare the crap out of me. And she even, I don't even know if you know, but one of the times she scared the crap out of me during one of the streams, she actually put a tip note in that said something like, this is getting you back for all those rides in the elevator or whatnot. So I kept telling her, I'm like, I'm going to get you back, I'm going to get you back, I'm going to get you back. And lo and behold, at the hotel, we had some elevator rides, and one of the times we just got back to the hotel after a full day of PAX. We're exhausted. Her guard was down, and we walk into an empty elevator. I leaned up against the wall like I was like tired, and just kind of went. And she immediately brought out her phone and was gonna jump on Twitter. By the way, she's been like a Twitter fiend since this trip, and she just starts to, and I saw that she wasn't paying any attention, and I just went, ah, just as loud as I could, just screamed at the top of my lungs, and she went, ah, and she literally like juggled her phone in the air as she collapsed against the other side of the elevator, and she's like, oh, she's like, don't do that, and like her heart was racing, and it was hilarious. The stupidest thing, the dumbest thing about it is I had my video camera in my hand. And I'm like, why? Why didn't I turn this thing on? She would never in a million years let me show it to you guys, but at least I would have had it and been able to start my day every morning with that, so. Oh my God, I forgot one story. I forgot a hilarious story from PAX East, guys. I totally forgot this. I wasn't there for this, but Widget told me. So Widget was there with me, and her husband smoked cigarettes. And apparently he used a water bottle like this, right, that was almost empty, to put out 2 of his cigarettes. And instead of like putting it out on the balcony or maybe in the garbage can, he put it on the nightstand next to the bed, and that Widget like was in bed watching TV and was like suddenly really thirsty, and she took a big swig of ashtray water. And she had to go throw up. She actually threw up. Oh my god, that's the worst. And I said, what makes that worse is like somebody could have said, for $1,000, I dare you to drink this. And she would have looked at it and went, no. And instead, she just did it for free. She just did it for free. She told me that I was dying. I was absolutely dying.